Hello everybody, you're watching Just Plain Gaming, and I am your host person you are watching. My name is Jose. Probably the whitest Jose you'll ever know, because I look nothing like a Mexican. Today we're going to be playing one of my favorite games from this generation, probably one of my favorite series from the last couple years, is Infamous Second Son. Alright, so this takes place 7 years after Infamous 2, which personally I believe is the best game in the series in terms of gameplay and story. It definitely has a more epic scale than I want to say it still has a more epic scale than 1, and definitely an epic scale than Second Son. But yeah, I still like it. It's a more personal story, it's much more low-key. And this game released, when was it? I believe it was February of 2014. It was announced when the PS4 was originally announced, and people were assuming it was going to be a launch shot along with Killzone and Knack, which I never played Knack. Heard it was kind of doggy poo-poo. And Killzone was okay. It was definitely made by like their B team. But out of like the opening window of games, this is probably the best one in terms of gameplay and graphics. While there's nothing really exclusive that was like super compelling story-wise. So so pretty much for the first year, this was my favorite game on the system, and it's still a great game. It's only about $20 either on PSN or Amazon Best Buy. You can catch it on cheaper deals here and there. And here we go. We're gonna jump straight into it with, I don't want to call this, well, I'll call it what it is. It is a straight up gimmick with the motion controls and spraying, although they make it more interesting because I don't want to call it a mystery, but you kind of get, you want to see what's coming up with what the fuck he's drawing. So it's at least amusing and entertaining while you're doing it, instead of, let's say, a Skyward Sword where the controls are bad and it's super important. With this, it controls completely fine. You can see the reticle going wherever I point it. It's cool, it makes you hold it like a spray can. There we go. Instead of making the whole gameplay around it, there's no real gimmicks in terms of the actual gameplay. The closest thing it possibly gets to is using the touchpad in order to absorb powers, but even then, that's just a button.
Party at the Longhouse. Just gotta get there, mingle, establish an alibi. I'm a goddamn criminal mastermind.
Getting up to no good. And as some of you may know, Infamous is known for having a morality system, and it's more of a binary good and evil versus gray morality choices, where you can pick and choose here and there. In this game, your powers depend on your morality, so if you want to get the most powerful abilities, you're going to want to go to the extreme of good or bad, which means from the outset, when you pick one choice, you're going to continue having to make either good or bad choices for the rest of the game. So while you won't really be able to,
what were you doing up on the
you're
roof?
pretty much predetermining what kind of character you're going to be. If there's a different decision coming up that you may want to change, you're going to be sacrificing stronger and stronger abilities, which you're going to need later on in the game, which I guess you can do. I've never heard of anyone doing that in Infamous. It's kind of built so it wants you to play it through 2 times to experience the different abilities for good and evil. And while I like this system in Infamous because it gives you 2 different extremes, I also like great choices. In the Telltale games, they do a great divide between the choices, where you're not always going to be the good person or the bad person, and there's going to be fucked up stuff you're going to have to do regardless.
Hello, freedom. And now the easy part. Get to the Longhouse, set up an alibi.
There we go. So we've met our characters. Delson, good for nothing delinquent who has a amazing sense of humor, some police officer, and Betty, actually one of my favorite characters in the game. She rarely shows up. She's only really in this introduction segment, phone call in the beginning of the game, once you get to Seattle, and then at the end. Alright, and spoiler alert, for this game, we are going to be doing the evil side. I highly recommend you play the game for yourself and play through the good side first, because it's the more, I want to say, heartwarming. Although I do find the evil powers more powerful, while the good powers focus more on precision and taking enemies down without killing them. If you want to go completely balls to the wall with destruction, just go evil. You'll have a really good time. And something that I've always loved about the Infamous games is, plain and simple, the movement, the character movements, the gameplay, it just feels really good. If you want to go anywhere, you can go anywhere. You're in complete control. There's no, you want to go one way and your character just doesn't do what you want him to do. I mean, there's a bit more of that in Infamous 1 and 2 with the parkour system, but they've pretty much fixed it in here. Then again, you have more, you'll see later, you get more movement abilities than you would in 1 and 2, with scaling buildings and such. Just jumping right up there. And I think that's a lesson that series like Assassin's Creed can learn from, and I don't know, me and Assassin's Creed are kind of mixed. I loved 2 and Brotherhood. And Brotherhood came out the year right after 2, and that was a weird situation for me. I was like, I don't know, I just finished playing 2. Do I really want to jump into Brotherhood right away? And you know what? It was a great game. And I'll shut up for now. Let's see this.
For you, we should probably just get inside.
Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is for me to keep arresting my own brother over and over and over again?
Maybe you should stop arresting your brother over and over and over again.
You think this is a joke?
Great logic there.
Is this how you want to leave your mark on the world, huh? You think this would make our parents proud? Misdemeanor vandalism?
Listen, man, there's a lot of scary shit in the world, and while I'm out there actually trying to assert my talent,
you're trying to assert your talent. I mean, what the
Why
hell
do you
are you
always
even
do
talking
this,
about?
Reggie? Why don't you just let me be who I
Tell me
am?
what big, bad,
If you would
scary
listen,
shit you're
I
gonna
would
stare us
explain
from.
it to you.
Really? Because I don't seem to get
Reggie.
it. What?
Truck.
Wouldn't be a video game if there was destruction of people's property. And it looks like, plain and simple, Reggie's right. Delson's just being an asshole. He's using pretension to cover up his bullshit.
You stay back. That thing's gonna blow.
Stay away
And
from
I don't know, I actually
okay,
love his
got
graffiti.
it.
It's like really fucking amusing. And I feel that way about real life graffiti. Where if I see graffiti and it's great art, it's awesome, go for it. But there's people that just do like gang signs and just like stupid crap. It's just, okay, you're being a dick. But if you're actually gonna create,
Oh, thanks, man.
I don't think it's for me to make the distinction between what's art and what isn't. I believe everything is art,
Hey,
but
let him go.
my own subjective
Let him
view,
go.
I'd say
Keep
if you're
your
gonna
hands
waste
where I
time
can
on
see
just
'em.
crap,
I don't wanna hurt
don't even
nobody.
bother, because you're just an asshole.
Get going before she gets you. I said let him go, or I will shoot you.
Reg?
No. I said I don't want to hurt nobody.
Why does he care about being getting shot anyway? It wouldn't hurt him. He's a fucking conduit. And here's something I love and hate about the Infamous games is, well, we just got a little sneak peek of it, but the game for some of its more storytelling cutscenes will go to a comic book style, which they look amazing. They do a great job with them. Although at the same time, I think I'd also prefer more in-game cutscenes with the characters actually talking to each other than stills.
Gotta find Reggie.
There we go. And we are introduced to our first ability, the smoke.
What the hell?
I was gonna say teleportation, more like a dash.
What's happening to me?
And
God,
regardless
no!
if you're good or evil, the shading on it will change.
Stop it,
I think the particles and the effect itself just looks really amazing. Thank you, Call of Duty, for installing, even though I haven't played you in a couple months, I believe. Something like
Oh
that.
my god. Make it stop! Reg! Reg, I really
Our
need
character
you!
freaking out. Why do we want powers? Powers are bad. Well, in this universe they give a very good reason for that, because they will be hunted down by the DUP, so he has every right to be afraid of this situation. And despite that, and trying to hide, we will use our abilities instead because they are really fucking cool.
No! Reggie!
Using it.
You okay?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
I gotta get that thing off you.
You just...
I gotta get you out!
Okay. Okay, just...
Oh yeah, he's voiced by Troy Baker, aka every voice you hear in every game ever. If it was up to me, I would fund a studio where every character would play by nobody but Troy Baker and Nolan North.
I can't stop it, man.
See how that works out.
Reggie, I can't stop it, man.
It's okay. You're okay.
Nolan North has a lot of range, but you can totally point out any Troy Baker role except for maybe
One of them.
Joel from The Last of Us.
No.
But
No. You are my
most
brother.
Troy Baker
Alright.
voice roles
My
sound the
brother.
same.
Okay.
Which I'm not saying is bad, he's a great voice actor,
Promise
but
we'll fix it.
definitely a bit
You with me?
overused.
You with me? Okay. Okay, get out there. There is a Bioterrorist. We gotta stop him before he gets to the rest of the tribe. Alright? I need you. I need you right now.
Off to save the day,
You good?
and promising not to use our superpowers. You want to take a guess what's going to happen anyway?
Just promise me you won't use any of those tricks.
What was I talking about earlier? Talking about, oh, even without superpowers, I wish I could jump this high.
Hey, hey.
And even when you jump, you can jump with momentum forward and then back. Because physics. And because it makes a good video game, so I will not bitch about that.
Sheriff, we can't get in! The button's jammed!
I think Betty's still inside.
Jeez, man, the latch is
Have they
melted.
no other way of getting in, aside if the
How did he
button's
get through?
broken?
I think he ran
This
through.
is great
You can do
planning,
that?
people.
It's only one way to find out.
And let's use our powers, even though we were told not to. Probably should have given a spoiler alert for that. Okay, and this is your main transportation
Vents.
getting to
Good to know.
buildings, at least with your smoke powers, is going through these vents. Which sometimes you'll find you want there to be more of. Sometimes you'll be circling a building early on in the game just trying to find one,
Should
and
have hurt.
you'll have no luck. For some reason, we cannot use our smoke to go by this, because story reasons. What was I saying before I interrupted myself again was... I don't know, for Assassin's Creed case, I felt like they just started completely milking it, and the character movement in there is... You can ask anyone, even diehards of the series will say, oh, you want to go up building X or you wanted to do Y, and your character just won't do it. Those games do not move well.
Nelson!
I was just trying to create a diversion. I didn't know anybody was in here.
You did this to me!
You're a conduit?
Betty,
He's a good bad guy.
explain later, but you gotta
Or
get out of here
bad
now.
good guy.
Good, I'm gone.
Not
Or
until
just
you
a bad
fix this
guy.
First.
Where the fuck did Betty go? I mean, I know we told her to get out, but Jesus, she fucking ran.
I spent most of my life behind bars. It's easy enough to bust out. You just gotta wait for that golden opportunity.
I really have to give
When I
credit
got
to the
my
people that
powers,
made these comic book
hell, I
cutscenes.
was
They're fucking amazing.
unstoppable. Until the DUP caught up with me. Yeah, they got a special hole they like to toss folks like me in. Figured out a way to bind us all up so we couldn't use our powers. That also meant they had to feed us, wash us, even wipe our goddamn asses. That's no way for a man to live. There's no way. They had this red-headed bitch there, really into needles and scalpels. She called what she did to me tests. But if you do enough time, you learn a few tricks. Just gotta be patient. Sooner or later, they'll screw up. They always do. You maybe see something or you hear something, learn things you weren't supposed to know. So when that bitch put the three of us in that wagon, I knew what was coming. A golden opportunity.
Something about that Lash in particular super reminds me of their past game Sly Cooper. Maybe something to do with the
I
eye.
saw you poking around inside my head.
It was me? I thought that was you.
You saw it, right? That DUP prison. If she catches you, that's where you're going.
Run.
Wait, wait, wait!